Ooh, welcome into the PHNX Daily Bet Show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and leave a 5-star review. I'm Shane Diefenbach, joined as always by Johnny Venerable on this awful, awful morning Monday. How are you doing?
I'm wearing black, Shane, very appropriate because we are mourning the death of the 2021-2022 Phoenix Suns season, a season that started with championship aspirations, historic regular season, 60-plus wins, and it ends after taking a 3-2 lead in the semifinals of the Western Conference playoffs. They were embarrassed last night. It was embarrassing. Thankfully, I know all about embarrassing. Saw the Arizona Cardinals play in the first round of the NFL playoffs in January and have a very similar performance. Now, the difference being they lost to the eventual Super Bowl champs and were not favored. The Suns were favored to win it all, Shane, and I'd put a sizable amount of money on the DraftKings Sportsbook app that they were, in fact, going to win the championship, and licking my wounds today, as are many of our many talented peers and coworkers.
Yeah, Mavs fans, if you are here, the ones that were here last week, you can talk your shit. Go for it. We already got one in the chat. Let's bring him up. Jay was here last week. Luka Doncic or Ayton plus Booker plus CP3. Who would you build a team with? Well, I don't think you're getting one of those guys back. I think Ayton might walk. So if you can get all three of them back, it really depends. But I think Luka Doncic is the only answer. I had said prior to the series that Luka Doncic was the best player in the series, and I obviously still believe that. This is just a situation where not only did they go away from what was working early in the series, but they also went away from what was working for the entire season.
Yeah.
This team doesn't look right. They said it on the Suns show. We're not going to talk about what they're going to do in the offseason because that's for the Suns. But there's going to be some stuff that comes out that we haven't heard of. Stung by selfish CP3 back-to-back seasons. Monty is not going to pull him no matter how he's playing. Yeah. And again, they talked about all of this last night in the PHNX post-game show.
Can I just say something really quick? Old players get hurt. That's what happens. When you're older and you've had all this mileage on your body, you go down. I don't think it's realistic to expect a 37-year-old point guard to carry a team to a championship. I think that's ignorant thinking. And I think that a lot of teams that, we're counting on veteran players this postseason have been burned by that. Look at the guys that are left remaining in this postseason, the Tatums, the Jaylen Browns, right? The Jimmy Butlers, guys who are either entering or still in their peak. Now we've seen an old James Harden and an old Chris Paul get eliminated in back-to-back days. It's not surprising. It's not surprising.
No, it isn't. And I agree with the selfishness. It's selfish by both of those guys to not give anybody else a chance, really. They didn't really go away. They went away from what was working. And as I said, they talked about it on the PHNX Suns post-game show. You can go ahead and watch that from last night. They'll also be live Monday through Friday because they have nothing else better to do now with watching games on the weekends. So come join us live at 2 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday. It's going to be a good time here in the offseason. We own the offseason here at PHNX.
We do.
So, yeah, there's going to be a lot to talk about. Already some stuff coming out about what the Suns might do. Flex tweeting that they are going to look to get a superstar type player. People thinking it's Dame Lillard. I've heard Spicy P. I would love both of those. Don't give me LeBron. Don't give me Kyrie. No. Don't give me KD. Give me one of those two guys. Give me somebody that can.
If Kevin Durant wanted to come to Phoenix, you would roll out the red carpet for Kevin Durant. Let's be honest with that. I think he's a little bit fraudulent.
I just don't know if it would work. He's a fantastic player. I just don't know if it would work.
This team showed you in this conference semifinal series, they did not have enough perimeter shooting. And when Devin Booker got cold and Chris Paul was a non-factor scoring the basketball, they had no other options. We had that brief spurt of, Mikal Bridges and company having a nice, I think, game 5. What was it after those 2 embarrassing games in Dallas, and then nothing. So I am with the mindset. I don't know who it would be, whether it's Dame or somebody else.
Dude, give me DeJounte Murray. Oh my God. Can you imagine betting on PRA every night on the PHNX Daily Bet Show with DeJounte Murray? Give me all of that. I would love that.
So you think they're going to let, real quick, then we'll get
to the betting portion of our show.
Okay. You think they're going to let Ayton walk? Wouldn't it be make more sense to do a sign and trade so you can get something back?
Oh no, that's what I mean. They would sign and trade him for one of these guys. I think you package him.
I cover football. I don't know the rules here.
Yeah, they would sign and trade DA to get one of these guys. I think it would be DA, Cam, some first. Obviously, if they I know they kept out first for next year. They don't have any picks this year. So it would be at least one or two firsts, and
In my
you'd have
opinion,
to trade something else. I don't know
it's
if
all
that's
about pairing Devin Booker with another perimeter shooter, and whatever you have to do to make that happen. Players will want to come here. This is a destination franchise with a coach now, coach of the year, destination city, perfect climate, West Coast. That's where people want to be.
yeah.
Devin Booker is a low maintenance superstar. The window is open now to get somebody like that to come and mitigate this situation.
It's just crazy that we're even talking about this, blowing it up. Howie in the
You
chat
have
saying,
to. You got
yeah,
to expose. Like, let's be honest about something. They could have lost the Pelican series. They
yeah,
didn't, but that was ugly too. This is not some. I almost think it's better, Shane, that it happened this way instead of like a heartbreaking loss to the Warriors in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals, because then your inclination is let's then run it back. You know now. This is our own Gerald Bourget, who does a phenomenal job covering the Suns for PHNX, basically said like this is the last time we're going to see this core group of players together because it's not working. You have to
yeah,
do something different. You are beyond now just stacking regular season victories, to the point to get to one seed. It doesn't matter. And that's what the great LeBron teams once upon a time showed you. The Warriors this year, like, they're not prioritizing the regular season. They're getting healthy and ready for the postseason. The Suns next year, I mean, it should be all about shaking things up to take on these superstar players that now they have to combat in the Western Conference.
yeah. One of the favorite things that I've seen come out of this year of playoffs is the fact that I've seen a lot of people tweet about this. LeBron and Steph Curry have made walking to the finals look so damn easy.
I know.
And you see the Bucks and the Suns not having an easy road ahead, and obviously both getting bounced. And now you get four teams that, I mean, the only singular team that you really expected to be here, like for sure, was the Warriors. Everybody else, it was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, but it wasn't like the biggest expectation. It's exciting. I like the parity, and I like what the
I do
future of the
too.
NBA is. I'm just a little worried what they're gonna do. I was a guy that didn't like the Chris Paul trade. I'll admit it when it happened, or the signing, whatever. And it worked to some extent, I guess.
It
But
helped them get to this level, and now
yeah,
it's time to graduate from it and take another step.
so if they do go out and get a guy that I don't like, I'm gonna hold my tongue. I'm just gonna let and see what happens. But if they go out and get a guy like Dame Lillard, or they go out and get a guy like DeJounte Murray, or they go out and get a guy like Spicy P, which who all three of I'm big fans of, and maybe that's just because I like sports betting on them, but I also just think that they're fantastic players. Would add a lot to this team. Dame Lillard being the only
Dame
exception of
Dame feels like the one that could most likely happen
yeah.
because of the fact that the Trailblazers are blowing that up.
He wants to
To
leave
me,
Portland, and he really likes Devin Booker.
and he doesn't have to relocate his family that far away. You stay on the West Coast. To me, it's more so, do the Suns want Dame Lillard?
Jay in the chat saying Booker cannot operate with an underperforming point guard. He doesn't have the skills or body to get out of double teams. Booker is Trae Young level, sadly. I wouldn't put him on Trae Young level just because Trae Young can't defend and Booker can. But I agree with the fact that he can't really operate without a star point guard. I think he will see him graduate to that next level here soon. I think he's going to be hearing all this talk of him not being a superstar level guy, which I don't think he showed in the postseason. We see Jason Tatum doing those type of things, and that Heat series is going to be a fun time. We'll get to that tomorrow, but today we're betting on the MLB. Before we get away from basketball, still the NBA playoffs, and the DraftKings Sportsbook app is I can't talk today because the sun's completely fried my brain. The NBA playoffs action is nonstop at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet just $5 on any team to win and get $150 in free bets if they do. If you're looking to turn a small bet into a big payday during the NBA playoffs, you can use the same game parlays, and they can do just that. And if you're not a new customer, you can bet up to 3 legs in a same game parlay and get up to $25 back if one of your legs doesn't hit. No longer can you bet a Chris Paul first field goal, but you can bet on Jason Tatum first field goal, a Robert Williams first field goal. You can do a lot of things with same game parlays. I had one that fell short yesterday that really hurt. I stayed away from the Suns game. I almost threw like $200 on the Mavs money line just because I knew the heartbreak. I was going to emotionally hedge. Didn't do that, but I bet on the Bucks game. I took the Celtics first half, and I took the Celtics. I took a double result where the Celtics won the first half and the Bucks would win the game, and then Giannis over 45 points and rebounds. The payout would have been plus 800. Unfortunately, the Bucks couldn't win that game, but I felt good about that. But with the DraftKings Sportsbook app, you can get that money back if one of your legs doesn't hit. So download it today. Use that promo code PHNX when you sign up. Bet just $5 on any NBA team to win their game. Get $150 in free bets if they do. That's promo code PHNX only this week at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. 21 plus, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT step. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for more details.
Let me ask you,
Baseball.
hang on,
Okay.
real quick.
Okay.
Because everybody, this is a foregone conclusion at this point. After everything that's come out last night, do you think it could be a mistake allowing DeAndre Ayton to leave? He's 23 years old. I do think that if on a center ball centric team, he could dominate. Could we be looking back on this and saying the Suns gave up on DeAndre Ayton too soon?
Just with the current landscape of the NBA, I'd say no. You don't see teams succeeding with centers. Even the best in the game in Nikola Jokic can't win a championship with just him and shooters around him. It's hard to win with just a center. And yeah, if you build around a center, sure.
Pairing Devin Booker with DeAndre Ayton long term.
But you're not. But you can't do that with a max contract center because you're building around two guys essentially, and one of them is a center. It just doesn't work in the landscape.
Howie in the chat, huge mistake. That literally everybody on Twitter is telling me it's a huge mistake. You have to get his ass out. And then he's arguing with Monty on the bench last night. Like, all I'm saying is he's 23 years old, and 2 weeks ago, everybody and myself wanted to pay him. Are we a little bit reactionary? I saw this with the Cardinals. Everybody wanted to fire Cliff Kingsbury. Got extended.
Here's what I'll say. The Suns offense can't operate like that. Like Monty Williams, just for some reason, they don't go to Ayton. They went away from it this year. In later in the playoffs, they didn't give him touches, and that's why he probably didn't want to play. If you can find a way to incorporate him consistently in the offense, then sure, it'll work. But until then, until you can show me that that's going to be proven night in and night out, that he can dominate like he should be dominating. And yeah, part of that is because they don't give him the ball enough. But at the same time, it just doesn't work that way. They can take him away easy. So I don't know. I'm not an NBA GM. I'm not going to sit here and say I know what's best for the team. I just know something needs to change. And whether that is getting rid of DeAndre and getting a star or bringing in a slower level guy and signing DeAndre to a max, so be it. We'll see what happens and we'll react to it. And that's the best I can give the people right now. And somebody's saying in the chat, ugh, baseball. What do you want us to bet on today?
We're going to bet the shit out of the NFL preseason. I can tell you that.
No, we're not.
Several months away. I will. I'll bet preseason football every day on this show. It's a day of mourning here on PHNX Bets Daily, but we're going to talk a little bit of Major League Baseball. And, the Diamondbacks are actually worth a shit this year. Yeah. They have a nice competitive start to the season. That should be celebrated.
What?
No, there's people in the chat. I love everybody in the chat. Everybody, we're taking it in stride today. We've had several shows already today. Everybody is super depressed. We're all tired. Everybody is angry. People are saying butthurt about the Suns. Okay, you're not wrong. We expected a championship run, or at the very least, I was so amped up, Shane, for that Golden State Phoenix Suns Western Conference Final, matchup that we were going to get to cover every day, and now we were robbed of that. And I don't think the Dallas Mavericks are going to put up a good fight either. That's what pisses me off.
I think they will.
No, I don't think so.
I think they will. I really think they will. Look, first of all, I'll say this again. They were the second best team in the NBA after the All-Star break, and it matters what team is hot at the right time. Okay, hold on. Second of all, you saw what a good team defense can do against this Golden State Warriors team. Yes, they're a different team than the Suns, but the Grizzlies tore them apart, and a lot of it was uncharacteristic turnovers. But who's to say a team can't lose a series because they were being uncharacteristic? Oh, wait, the Suns said that. That can happen. And Luka Doncic is a player that can take over a series. We've seen it happen. We literally just saw it happen. In Game 7s, if it gets to that point, he will close you out. I'm excited to see this series. I don't think the Warriors are just going to walk to the finals.
Warriors in 5. That would be my prediction. They'll split in Dallas, and then they'll sweep in Golden Warriors in 5.
I disagree, and we'll bet on that. We'll see what happens. But let's get to baseball. Johnny, what do you like tonight?
Hey, I like two teams. Well, one of them is trending in the right direction. The Yankees are like low-key kicking ass this year. They don't have double-digit losses yet. They've won, I think, like 4 straight series in a row. They get the lowly Baltimore Orioles on the road today. They're a prohibitive favorite. I think they're going to squash them. Their pitching staff's been fantastic this year. low-key resurgence in the what usually is ultra competitive AL East. And the St. Louis Cardinals off a big series win against San Francisco. I think they get a dub tonight, led by Miles Michaelis, one of the better pitchers in the NL, at the New York Mets. Mets have been a good team. I think the Cardinals get the dub tonight. I'll tell you why here in a second with one of my favorite props of the evening, Chano.
Yeah, I like it. I love home run props, and that's all I'll say for now. We'll
Okay.
get into my picks for today. I'm a big fan of this Angels team lately. I don't know why. I know I love talking smack about them. I have this like when we were
Well, you're a
previewing.
Mariners fan, so you're in the same division.
Well, they will never win the division, and they will never get to the playoffs, even though they have two very, very big stars in the MLB. But regardless, I'm taking their money line. It's only at -145. They're playing the gross Texas Rangers. I was thinking about taking the -1.5, but it's the Angels after all, so I'm sticking with the money line. And then Colorado at San Francisco. Two teams that like to score runs but don't like to play defense, especially the Rockies. The over under exemplifies that at 11.5. I'm smashing the over. It's just like in basketball. If you see an over hovering around 235, you take the over because there's going to be a lot of points scored. I'm taking the over in this one. I'm expecting some fireworks.
How are your Mariners doing this year? Looks like they're under 500 that
Yeah.
fairy tale season.
What fairy tale season?
You and everybody else told me that the Mariners were going to break their postseason streak this year.
Yeah, I still think they will. Did you see what
Okay.
Julio Rodriguez did yesterday?
Sweet. There were 2 games under 500. I'm just going to check in on this throughout the regular season because I'm not going to let you live this down if they miss the
Okay,
playoffs.
I won't let myself live this down. You know who is getting sent down is Jared Kelnick. He's back down in the AAA. Sad for him, but Julio Rodriguez hit his second MLB home run last night and
He's a
went
good
4
player.
for 4. He went 4 for 4.
It's a
He's
good
hitting
player.
over almost 250 now.
You know who else is a good player? I don't know if you're familiar with him or not. Nolan
Arenado.
Arenado is a really good player, and he is my highlight today in my baseball boys bets here. My props: Nolan Arenado over under a home run plus 320. Hit a bomb yesterday. He's been on fire. 8 home runs this year. Hits them in bunches. I think this is the start of a new streak. Speaking of streaking, Miles Michaelis has one of the better ERAs in the National League at 1.49. I don't think we're going to see any runs in the first inning between the Mets and the Cardinals. Mets have a phenomenal pitching staff. They're one of the best teams in the NL to begin the season. So Cardinals typically take 3 or 4 innings to get going. That's a big ballpark for the Mets. So I think you can take solace in that. Couple these together, get a nice little not day game parlay, but a baseball game parlay. But the Nolan Arenado home run plus 320, I already put some coin on that. I feel really good about that.
Yeah, home run props are very fun unless you bet on Julio to hit a home run every day of his MLB career, then sleep in the one day he does hit it. Then that's not very fun, but it's okay. We're getting into my props. And speaking of the Mariners, Vladdy Jr. is playing the Mariners today. I'm taking his over 1.5 bases at -115. I also like the Blue Jays to cover this game specifically because Kikuchi is pitching. You say Kikuchi.
Coochie.
Yeah, you say Kikuchi, baby. He's pitching, and he used to be a Mariner. Also, the Blue Jays are just a much superior team. So I'm taking the -1.5 as well, sprinkling a little bit. But I like this Vladdy Jr. over 1.5 bases. And then you got to throw a Nerfy in if you're betting on baseball. The Orioles are big stinkers, and sometimes the Yankees don't know how to hit. So I'm taking the Nerfy in this one, -135, no run, first inning.
You love those.
Anything else before we get out of here, Johnny?
Yeah, PHNX Cardinals today is live at 4:00. Hey, guess what we're going to be talking about? Which team had the bigger collapse to end their season? The Arizona Cardinals,
Wait,
the Phoenix Suns. We're also going to talk James Bradbury and the team's potential interest in bringing on one of the best free agent
That would
corners
be
that's
so
still
hot,
available.
Johnny.
It'd be super hot. It would be like if Steve Keim really gave a shit about the Valley and the community, he would come out today and say, everybody, we know we're depressed. Here's a nice May signing for everybody to get their minds off. It would give us content to lead the show. It would be a step in the healing direction. He won't do that though. We love you, Steve, but yeah, we're probably going to get a signing here in the next couple weeks, but it won't be today. This is a day of mourning, but I do think it's funny. I'm going to make this point today. You know, we talked about Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray, and they were very much on par with, well, you got to do what the Suns are doing. The Suns are captivating the Valley, right? I mean, the Cardinals kind of came out of nowhere to that hot start, and then we got disappointed. The Suns were the perennial favorites to get back to the championship and win it. So I'm kind of making the case right now. It's what we like to call a teaser in our business, but yeah, Suns, Cardinals, bigger disappointment, bigger collapse today. PHNX Cardinals, 4 p.m. Myself, Damian Anderson, Bo Brock. Yeah, we'll continue to get through it, the healing together.
Yeah, I love this comment by Pete saying, I know, MLB talk, but bring Rubio back as a backup point guard if they run it back with CB.
Backup point guard talk the day after
the thing I
season
love about our
ends.
chat so much is that we can just like talk about our takes and stuff, and then someone just randomly is like, oh, you know what? By the way, this happened. And I love it, and I love you guys coming back. And I know Mavs fans probably
day.
won't be coming back often, but if you want to, we'll have NBA picks throughout the playoffs.
We're going to talk Mavericks, and hell, we might bet the
Dallas Mavericks come Wednesday. Tomorrow we'll be back. It's right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Keep locked in by subscribing every Monday through Friday at noon. As I said, tomorrow we'll be back talking the Eastern Conference Finals, which will be a good time. I'm really excited for that series.
My Celtics.
Between the Celtics and the Heat. Can I adopt the Heat? Or no, that's Mike Luke.
Yes, you can. You can adopt the Heat.
No, you know what?
I've been a Celtics fan my whole
life. I'm going to
life.
adopt the Mavericks. Mavs fans, I'm with you now.
God.
Luka Doncic is my daddy. You can.
I sat right where Shane was sitting 6 months ago and said Jason Tatum was a superstar, and Saul Bookman and Shane Diefenbach, fraud, looked at me and thought I was the biggest joke and wanted to fire me on the spot. And now look at him.
When was that?
We were doing the PHNX tailgate show, and I talked about how good Jason Tatum was, and you both laughed at me. Look at him now. Look at him now. The pride of St. Louis,
I don't believe
Missouri.
you. There's no way I would have said he's not a superstar. I don't believe you.
No, you guys said he was overrated, and his fans are too crazy.
I still think his fans suck.
Let's get some of those fans. You guys know any Boston Celtic fans? Let's get them on the show.
All right. Well, back tomorrow, every Monday through Friday at noon, right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter at Shane Deef. You can follow Johnny on Twitter at Johnny Venerable. You can follow the show on Twitter at PHX_bets and follow PHNX_sports across all socials, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. It's going to be a good time.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. We own the off season here at PHNX, and the off season. You know what I'm excited about? The absolute slow season that's about to come for PHNX bets.
Don't even joke like that. We're getting a big guess.
No. I'm talking about just betting baseball. We're going to bet it well. I'm just excited for that. And I'm excited for all you guys, all 23 of you guys watching. There's 3 cameras in here, and the only one that's on is right there. So that's why I'm lucky everywhere. Guys, been a pleasure as always. And we'll be back tomorrow at noon. Peace, love, and Nerfy. Sure.
Nerf.